Hi, folks. How's my sound? Hi, everyone. I love you guys. You're so sweet. You're always here to support me and stick up for me. I'm not a victim. I never have been. Okay? You reap what you sow. Karma can come back around and bite you in the ass. Can happen to anybody. Not that I'm having karma. I don't think I am. Thank you. But I was just going to read my Marianne Williamson book, which I'm going to. Don't worry, ladies, for some of you that want this to be a calm stream, and I'm going to. And I'm going to end it with My Courage to Change, my recovery book. But I'm getting messages in Messenger. Why are things being brought up about Dolly Vision from a year ago and this and that and the other thing? I'm not bringing them up. If I don't say anything, people are going to run with anything. So people can either believe what I say or not believe what I say. That's up to them. The people that know me, that really know me, and know the truth of my life and my social life, they're good friends. Okay? They don't take private messages and air them like people like Bombshell Reloaded. Okay, I thought she had at least some standards. Obviously, a year ago, she didn't. She had an absolute heyday with my leaked messages. It's just so weird to me. And she's not the only one that wanted to take them and run with it. I'm pretty darn sure Dumplin did too. And now we got Blame Katie wanting to. And this is proof. It's after my last live. Destiny Rose, thinking she's being sly under a different account or whatever the heck, but it's her picture, wrote in there because I don't block people, but I guess I'll have to block both of them somehow if they're going to be planning stuff in my own program's comments. Yeah, I mean, don't let that little round cheeked gal named Dumplin fool ya. Okay, I tried to be her friend for a while. I apologize for my part in what happened with her and Kimmy. And it wasn't even, I didn't have anything to do with that. They were both, I don't know, there was some weird bullying going on, and I called them out on it, and they didn't like it, but, or at least Dumplin. And some of it had to do with Demetrius and things like that. And honestly, I think that's why Demetrius and I are still friends to this day, because I do stick up for people that are bullied. Okay. And that's what Maria G does. And that's why I'm so perplexed at her situation over on you know where. But that's okay. Hi, everyone. So, anyway, here it is. Come here, Tulip. All right. So, what I did, and I had to, is it's on my iPad, and I'm using my iPad. So, I read it, and it's on my phone. Here it is. This is what was said. This is why I'm going to address it again in the best way I can without hurting people. This is from Destiny Rose, DRBHNR5ZU. It's a picture of her child and herself. I recognize her picture because she befriended me for months, I guess, to set me up or try to. She says, "Today, Megan, you told me you saw him. meaning Jimmy, right? You told me he met you at a restaurant and you had him take you to the airport and he kissed you, dropping you off. In your voice, in a voice recording, I have you saying that. Still lying. She has that capital letters. First of all, well, I'm not going to elaborate on it here. Well, yeah, I can, and then I can just play it or say it on my live. First of all, I told you, because you gave me, all that money to get souvenirs and whatnot, which, by the way, I paid you back, and you gave me $400 and were willing to give me more. Maybe that's how badly you wanted me to go so you could set me up. I don't know. But I didn't go to a restaurant with anybody. Okay, I went to McDonald's and stuff like that. And I never said he took me to the airport. I never said that. I took a taxi to the airport. Okay, so you guys want to rehash over stuff from over a year ago. Have fun with it. You're just going to end up upsetting other people. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about that. Okay, and then after that, Blame Katie has to come in, and this is what she said. And like she says many times on her lives, I live for this shit. I live for this shit. She loves it. She loves gossip and slandering and making people try to anyway, feel less than. And it's just such crap. And then Blame Katie comes in and says, oh my God, do you have that? She's lied forever about this. And Destiny Rose says to Blame Katie, yes, I absolutely do. So once again, I feel like I need to address at least this falsity. There you go. So now I'm wondering if my private messages are going to be leaked. But this is the thing. I said one thing because I knew she couldn't prove either way. All right. I didn't even everyone knows that I went by now. Everyone. But I didn't even take pictures of Virginia or anything. I just didn't. And I kept my word on things. I have some beautiful pictures of the plane flight, things like that, there and back. The point is this is like over a year ago, and because people in chats and on other channels now have to bring up things, I know. The thing is, Sierra, um, you know, a certain person with him now, I won't bring up her name, said to me on the phone way back in was before March or around March. She's trying to say that she said, well, you might have a chance or whatever, right? No, she said go for it. Now, I don't have to go for anything, okay? I was just me. I was up on an uncensored panel where I didn't even really know, what to say, what not to say, whatever. And I was ridiculed behind the scenes for weeks, maybe months. And I received all of that information from Maria G. Okay, and I appreciated that. And I was like, wow, I'm hated that much up there by a certain female. Now, those days are over and done. They're done. And if I'm still friends with Jimmy, that's his prerogative and mine, and no one will know. And, you know, I've kept my part and I've kept my word. And people want to call me delusional and crazy, and she's just butthurt because, she didn't even get to meet the host and this and that. Whatever. You guys can think whatever you want. But I'm okay. I'm okay. And I always will be okay. And Jimmy's okay. And other people should be okay. So now this is going to be, my messages are probably going to be put out there. I know what I said. I also know, and I'm going to end with this on the subject. Exactly, Sierra, but whatever. She denies those words. That is what she said. But anyway, listen, I'm not up here to talk about them. I'm here to say if my messages come out, gee, you know, what a surprise. I can't believe, I just, I was so close to Destiny Rose, so close. She had money to help me get down there because she got bit in the face by a dog, all right, and she got a settlement. And $400 feels like 4,000 to me. It's just the way it goes. And for her to say, if you need more, well, I knew I was going to pay her back, and I didn't want to stretch things too thin with my trust fund. So that was the limit with that. I paid Maria G back. That was talked about on Katie's. Oh, did she pay her back? Who paid for that? Who paid for her lodging? Okay. These were people that, well, Maria was genuine. For a whole year, I thought Destiny was, even after she leaked my message. It just, I mean, she sent me pictures of her kids. I had her actual address, everything. She made flyers of summer wells for me to pass out down south. And I actually did. One on the sidewalk and one in a couple little, one in McDonald's and then one somewhere else. Oh, at the place I was staying. And I think that's it. Oh, and I had a whole bunch of little teeny ones that she had sent me in a manila envelope. And I asked the lady at the hotel or motel, I guess it is, if I could just leave them there. And she said, yeah, it's fine with her, but she'd have to check with the boss or something like that. So, I don't really think I was set up. I still don't think that. I think that because I wasn't willing to tell her what she wanted to hear, right? What she wanted to hear. Did I meet him or not? I wasn't willing to say either way, and she was really hurt by that. So if messages get out there, I don't even know what's on them that's damning to me. Do you know what I mean? So it's whatever. People can have a heyday with it, I guess. But anyway, I think that's all I really have to say on that. So, hi everybody. Hi Lindsay Lay, Follow the Money, Mary Jane, Sierra, Genevieve, Sean B, According to Leanie. Is that really you? It probably is. Been cloned a lot lately, huh? Zero Fox Given, Susie, Mission Possible, which TR Mission, if you're still in here, says you and Lord Dandy, which is Lionel, come in only when I'm defending you guys. She said it in Blame Katie's chat. People need to be careful of what they type in chats. Hi, Ray Jones, MGA, which I don't believe because you used to come into my chat before I even had a falling out with TR. Oh, hi dot underscore zero fox given and Cheryl Lee. Joni. I'm trying to pull up to the beginning. I think that's everybody. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to finish part of this book by Marianne Williamson. I think my sound is good because, for one, I'm not sitting on the couch in the living room holding the iPad. Oh my gosh, the sound was off on quite a bit of it. But in a way, it was a good thing because Blame Katie played my entire live. So, copyright disclaimer. This video is for educational purpose only. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Okay. I feel that too, because I'm telling you right now, she ever does one little thing wrong, or there's a lie out there that, let's hypothetically say she's using Rose for clout. Okay, she's not. It's a hypothetical. Rose will believe it and run with it. That's the problem. And then she'll start in an inadvertent way making Maria feel like she's so incredibly needed by Rose. So, yeah, see, we go way, way back. And I don't support men that have problems with Rose. I support men and women. Hi, Tony. Thank you. Hi, everyone. That support me and are kind to me. Okay, if they have issues and problems with other people, that's one thing. All right. Now, I was really close friends with Maria for a long time. So to me, it's a different scenario when you support someone that constantly bullied. And that was a bald-faced damn lie and Blame Katie's thing. 12 days in a row and nights. What is the word? Now I can't think of it. Dragged me. That's a lot. And to sit in a chat day in and day out, night in and night out, and sit there and welcome all these people as a mod to come into her chat while they're trying to crush my spirit, and my passed away family spirit, like my father, and my older mother's spirit. Frankly, it's wrong. Period. Thanks, Sean B. All right. This book, Marianne Williamson, A Return to Love, Reflections on the Principles of A Course in Miracles. Now, I've read most of it, but this is near the end where I was at anyway. This is The Decision to Be Happy. God's will is that we be happy now. This book was written in the 90s. This woman is a lecturer. She lectures internationally in the fields of spirituality and new thought. Ms. Williamson teaches the basic principles of A Course in Miracles and discusses their application to daily living. She lectures regularly in New York and LA and has lectured in cities throughout the US and Europe. She appears regularly on TV. Ms. Williamson is the founder and chairman of the Los Angeles and Manhattan Centers for Living, nonprofit organizations that provide free, non-medical services to people living with life-challenging illnesses and grief. The LA Center's Project Angel Food prepares and delivers hot meals 7 days a week to hundreds of homebound people with AIDS. That's what it says here. Ms. Williamson resides in LA with her daughter. So I bought this book for myself because I actually saw her. I believe it was on Oprah, like in the 80s. But God's will is that we be happy now. In asking that God's will be done, we are instructing our minds to focus on the beauty in life, to see all the reasons to celebrate instead of mourn. Usually we figure out what we think would make us happy and then try to make those things happen. But happiness isn't circumstance dependent. There are people who have every reason in the world to be happy who aren't. There are people with genuine problems who are. The key to happiness is the decision to be happy. There has been a lot of talk in the last few years about allowing our feelings. It's an important concept, but one that can be used by the ego for its own purposes. Most of the time when we hear someone say, feel your feelings, they mean feel the negative ones. Feel your pain, feel your anger, feel your shame. But we need support in feeling our positive feelings just as much as we need support in feeling our negative ones. It is the experience of genuine emotion of any kind that the ego resists. We need support and permission to feel our love, to feel our satisfaction, and to feel our happiness. The ego does hidden battle against unhappiness. I remember when I was in college walking around with books of Russian poetry under my arm, cultivating what I felt was a sophisticated, cynical frown worthy of my intellectual prowess. I felt it indicated that I understood the human condition. Ultimately, I realized that my cynicism revealed very little understanding of the human condition, because the most important facet of that condition is that we are always at choice. We can always choose to perceive things differently. There is an old cliche, you can see the glass half empty or you can see it half full. You can focus on what's wrong in your life or you can focus on what's right. But whatever you focus on, you're going to get more of. Creation is an extension of thought. Think lack and you get lack. Think abundance and you get more. But when I'm going on like everything's great, I'm not being honest with myself. I can hear the voices say, but the negative self is not our honest self. Rather, it is the imposter. We need to be in touch with our negative feelings, but only in order to release them and feel the love which lies beneath them. It's not so difficult to feel positive feelings or think positive thoughts. The problem is that we resist them. They make us feel guilty. To the ego, there is no greater crime than claiming our natural inheritance. If I'm rich, says the ego, someone else will be poor. If I become successful, someone's feelings might get hurt. Who am I to have it all? I'll be a threat and people won't like me anymore. These are some of the arguments the ego spews into our consciousness. The Course admonishes us to beware the danger of a hidden belief. A hidden belief that many of us hold is that there is something wrong with being too happy. The ego's religious dogma hasn't helped. Suffering has been glorified. People have focused on the crucifixion more than the resurrection. But crucifixion without the resurrection is a meaningless symbol. Crucifixion is the energy pattern of fear, the manifestation of a closed heart. Resurrection is the reversal of that pattern, brought about by a shift in thought from fear to love. All right. Blessed are those who have faith who cannot see, says Jesus. It's easy to have faith when things are going well, but there are times in everyone's life when we have to fly on instruments, just like a pilot making a landing in low visibility. He knows the land is there, but he can't see it. He must trust his instruments to navigate for him. And so it is with us when things aren't what we'd like them to be. We know that life is always in process and always on its way to greater good. We just can't see that. During those times, we rely on our spiritual radar to navigate for us. Hi, Freeside. Hi, everybody. We trust there's a happy ending by our faith. Through our trust, we invoke its proof. Resurrection is actively called forth. It represents the decision to see light in the midst of darkness. In the Talmud, the Jewish book of wisdom, the Jew is told how to behave in the midst of dark times. During the time of the darkest night, says the Talmud, act as if the morning has already come. God provides the answer to every problem the moment it occurs. Time, as we've already seen, is just a thought. It is the physical reflection of our faith or faithlessness. If we think it's going to take time for a wound to heal, it will. If we accept God's will is already accomplished, we experience the healing of all wounds immediately. Only infinite patience produces immediate results. The universe is created to support us in every way. God, I got tulip crawling in my lap. There we go. God is constantly expressing his infinite care for us. The only problem is we don't agree with him. We don't love ourselves as he loves us, and so we block our experience of the miracles to which we're entitled. The world has taught us we are less than perfect. In fact, we have been taught that it's arrogant to think we're deserving of total happiness. This is the point where we're stuck. If anything comes into our lives, love, success, happiness, which seems like it would be suited to a deserving person, our subconscious mind concludes it can't possibly be for us. And so we sabotage. Few people have wronged us like we've wronged ourselves. No one has snatched the candy away from us like we've thrown it away from ourselves. We have been unable to accept joy because it doesn't match who we think we are. In contrast to the ego's meager appraisal of our worth, stands truth as God created it. There is no light more bright than the light that shines within us. Whether or not we see that light is irrelevant, it's there because God placed it there. It is not only our right, but in a way our responsibility to be happy. God doesn't provide any of us with happiness that is only meant for us alone. When God sends us happiness, he does so in order that we might then stand up more fully in the world on his behalf. Happiness is a sign that we have accepted God's will. It's a lot easier to frown than to smile. It's easy to be cynical. In fact, it's an excuse for not helping the world. Whenever people say to me, Marianne, I'm so depressed about world hunger, I say to them, do you give $5 a month to one of the organizations that feed the hungry? The reason I ask is that I've noticed that people who participate in the solution to problems don't seem to find themselves as depressed about those problems as do people standing on the sidelines doing nothing. Hope is born of participation in hopeful solutions. We are happy to the extent that we choose to notice and to create the reasons for happiness. Optimism and happiness are the results of spiritual work. Love waits on welcome, not on time. Heaven merely awaits our acceptance. It is not something we'll experience later. Later is just a thought. Be of good cheer, said Jesus, for I have overcome the world. He realized, and so can we all, that the world has no power before the power of God. It is not real. It is only an illusion. God has created love as the only reality, the only power, and so it is. Are you guys liking this at all? Oh, I didn't know that. Hi, Wild Angel. Hi there. Um, yeah, so I'm going to read a little more. Our capacity for brilliance. Oops. Oh, I'll go ahead and put this up. Or, no, this. I'll put this up if anyone wants to tip the hostess. I've been told to do that. I haven't done that very much lately, which is fine. Okay. Oh, thanks, Zero Fox Given. Oh, nice, Genevieve. Thank you. Our capacity for brilliance. You can stretch out your hand and reach to heaven. In the eyes of God, we're all perfect and we have unlimited capacity to express brilliantly. I say unlimited capacity rather than unlimited potential, because potential can be a dangerous concept. We can use it to tyrannize ourselves, to live in the future instead of in the present, to set ourselves up for despair by constantly measuring ourselves against what we think we could be rather than what we are. Until we're perfect masters, it is by definition impossible to live up to our potential. Our potential always remains something we're only capable of living later. Potential is a concept that can bind us to personal powerlessness. Focus on human potential remains impotent without a focus on human capacity. Capacity is expressed in the present, it is immediate. The key to it lies not in what we have inside of us, but rather in what we are willing to own that we have inside of us. There is no point in waiting until we are perfect in what we do, or enlightened masters or PhDs in life, before opening ourselves to what we're capable of doing now. Of course, we're not as good today as we'll be tomorrow, but how will we ever get to tomorrow's promise without making some sort of move today? I remember spending years of my life so upset about the life choices I felt I had available that I never moved. I was paralyzed by all the possibilities. I couldn't figure out which road would lead me to the fulfillment of my potential, this glorious neurotic myth that lay always just in front of anything I could manifest now. So I was always too scared to move. And fear, of course, is the great betrayer of self. I'll say that again. I like that. Fear, of course, is the great betrayer of self. The difference between those people living their potential and those who don't is not the amount of potential itself, but the amount of permission they give themselves to live in the present. We are the adult generation. We have adult bodies, adult responsibilities, and adult careers. What many of us lack is an adult context for our lives, one in which we give ourselves permission to shine, to blossom fully, to show up powerfully in the present without fearing that we are not good enough. Waiting for a powerful future is a way of making sure it never gets here. An adolescent dreams of what will be. An adult takes joy in today. I once had a therapist who told me that my problem was that I wanted to move directly from point A to point X, Y, and Z. She pointed out that I seemed incapable of moving from point A to point B, of putting one foot in front of another. It's much easier to dream about point Z than to actually move to point B. It's easier to practice our Oscar acceptance speech than to get up and go to acting class. We're often afraid to do anything unless we know we can do it extremely well. But we get to Carnegie Hall by practicing. I remember how freeing it was several years ago to read in an interview with Joan Baez that some of Bob Dylan's early songs weren't so wonderful. We have this image of genius springing fully grown out of Zeus' forehead. I once asked someone to lecture for me while I was out of town, and he answered that he felt he couldn't lecture as well as I. Of course you can't, I said. I've been doing it for years. But how will you ever get great at it unless you start doing it? I think the reason people don't have hobbies today as much as they did in past generations is because we can't bear to do anything we're not fabulous at. Several years ago, I started taking piano lessons again. After having played for many years as a child, Chopin, I'm not. but there was so much therapeutic value in just playing. I saw very clearly that you don't have to be a virtuoso at everything you do in order to be a virtuoso at life. Virtuosity in life means singing out, not necessarily singing well. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. It's really sweet. Most of us feel on some level like racehorses chomping at the bit, pressing at the gate, hoping and praying for someone to open the door and let us run out. We feel so much pent up energy, so much locked up talent. We know in our hearts that we were born to do great things, and we have a deep seated dread of wasting our lives. But the only person who can free us is ourselves. Most of us know that. We realize that the locked door is our own fear. But we have learned by now that on some level, our terror of moving forward is so great that it would take a miracle to free us. The ego would have us born with great potential and die with great potential. In between, there is ever increasing suffering. A miracle frees us to live fully in the present, to release our power and to claim our glory. The Son of God is risen to heaven when he releases the past, releases the future, and thus releases himself to be who he is today. Hell is what the ego makes of the present. Heaven is another take on the altogether. Spiritual practice. An untrained mind can accomplish nothing. Love takes more than crystals and rainbows. It takes discipline and practice. It's not just a sweet sentiment from a Hallmark card. It is a radical commitment to a different way of being, a mental response to life that is completely at odds with the thinking of the world. Heaven is a conscious choice to defy the ego's voice. The more time we spend with the Holy Spirit, the greater our capacity is to focus on love. A Course in Miracles tells us that 5 minutes spent with Him in the morning, doing the workbook or any other serious practice of prayer or meditation, guarantees that He will be in charge of our thought forms throughout the day. What that means is that we take responsibility for making what in Alcoholics Anonymous is called conscious contact with Him. Or, your higher power, whatever that may be. Just as we go to the gym to build up our physical musculature, so we meditate and pray to build up our mental musculature. The Course says we achieve so little because we have undisciplined minds. We instinctively go into paranoid or judgmental, fearful reactions instead of loving ones. The Course says we are far too indulgent of mind wandering. Meditation disciplines the mind. That's probably what I need to do. Goodness gracious. My mind does wander a lot onto different topics, different thoughts. But on YouTube, right, you'll just be going about your day, you'll hear a little ding, and then you get a message about a live that's being played about you or something. When we meditate, our brains literally emit different brain waves. We receive information at a deeper level than we do during normal waking consciousness. Okay. It's not what we think that transforms us, but how we think. The principles of miracles become mental habits in our problem-solving repertoire. Spiritual growth is not about becoming more metaphysically complicated, but rather it is about growing simpler. As these very basic principles begin to permeate more and more deeply into our thought system, meditation is time spent with God in silence and quiet listening. It is the time during which the Holy Spirit has a chance to enter into our minds and perform His divine alchemy. What changes because of this is not just what we do, but who we are. Okay. I can either love the experience or hate it, but it doesn't really matter. All that affects my body is whether or not I lift the weights. She's talking about lifting weights at the gym. So it is with meditation also as with physical exercise. The effects of meditation are cumulative. When we go to the gym and work out for an hour, we don't really see any change in our bodies at the end of the hour. If we go every day for 30 days, however, then we do see a change. So it is with meditation, and sometimes we're not the ones who can see the change as much as others can. We might not even be aware of how much the quality of our energy, the invisible emanations of our minds, affect our environment and the people within it, but others do, and they respond accordingly. Spiritual practice supports the development of personal power. Spiritually, powerful people are not necessarily people who do so much as they are people around whom things get done. Gandhi caused the British to leave India, but he wasn't a man who ran around a lot. Powerful forces swirled around him. President Kennedy is another example. Legislatively, he achieved relatively little, but he unleashed invisible forces within others that altered the consciousness of at least one American generation. At the highest level of our being, we don't do anything. We are at rest when the power of God works through us. Meditation is a profound relaxation. The ego's frantic voice, its vain imaginings, are burned away. We all have within us a direct radio line to the voice for God. The problem is the radio is full of static. In our quiet times we spend with God, the static melts away. We learn to hear the small, still voice for God. In heaven, that is the only voice we hear. That is why we are happy there. Seeing the light. Child of light, you know not that the light is in you. Only the light within us is real. We are not afraid of the dark within ourselves, so much as we are afraid of the light. The dark is familiar. It's what we know. Yet neither oblivion nor hell is as unacceptable to you as heaven. The light, the thought that we might indeed be good enough, is such a threat to the ego that it takes out its very big guns to defend against it. Someone I know remarked to me about a mutual friend, "He has a mean-spirited soul." "No, he doesn't," I replied. "He has a mean-spirited personality. His soul is one of the brightest I've ever seen. His mean-spiritedness is simply a defense against the light. If he were to let in his light and choose to really express all his love, it would overwhelm his ego. His meanness is his armor, his protection against the light." Our defense against light is always some form of guilt that we project onto ourselves or others. God can love us infinitely. The universe can support us unendingly. But until we agree with God's kind appraisal of us and the universe's merciful behavior, we will do everything in our power to keep the miracles we're entitled to at bay. Why the self-hatred? As we've already seen, the ego is our mind's endless need to attack itself. How do we escape this? Through the acceptance of God's will as our own. God's will is that we be happy. God's will is that we forgive ourselves. God's will is that we find our place. Tulip, he knocked my fake little, not palm tree, but something. Did you guys hear that glass? He's up on the window. She's up on the windowsill, staring down like, uh-oh, what did I do? Come here. Mommy not going to be mad. Come here. She's kind of hidden behind the blanket, her little head. Oh, Lord. I heard it break. Okay. Oh, where was I? I don't even know where I was. Okay. It is not our arrogance, but our humility, which teaches us that who we are is good enough and that we have to say is valid. It is our own self-hatred that makes it difficult for us to consistently support and nurture other people, because supporting others amounts to supporting ourselves. When I speak publicly, there is a palpable different feeling between audiences who want me to win and those who are sitting back signaling, "Oh, yeah? Show me." The former is a context in which I am invited to shine, and the latter is one in which I am challenged to shine. Isn't life challenging enough? Is human kindness so lightweight? She's still up there. You come here, you little cat. I'll show her face sometime. I haven't been showing my face for days because, I mean, my face is fine, my hair is fine, my body's, okay, whatever. But I just feel like people are out there now just wanting to critique every little gosh darn thing about me. Oh, kitty, I loves you. You come here, sirs. She's like, oh, mommy isn't mad at me. Tulip is the one with the brown above her eyes that have always looked like these eyebrows. And she still has them. She's really sweet. And she loves feet, you guys. Even my daughter says that. She likes to sniff toes. We're barefoot usually, through the house or have socks on. I usually have socks on. And she likes to bite, nibble, and sniff. It's so funny. Yes. And when I'm feeding them and opening the meat and stuff, I put a little dry on the side. She's down there, like most cats, right? They rub against the leg. She's like mass gentle. We're talking like loving kind of. Hi, truth seeker. Thanks for all your kindness over there and BK's chat. I don't think she'd be like to have people think of her as Benny Keys, but those are her initials. And look, I have nothing against her. I'm not even going to talk about what she talked in there. Um, it is what it is. Um, she relaxed a little more at the end of her live. Okay, so oh, you're so funny. She's up here rubbing her lips against my fingers on the book. uh Oh, okay. So, oh yeah, show me. The former is a context in which I am invited to shine, and the latter is one in which I am challenged to shine. Isn't life challenging enough? Is human kindness so lightweight? When we know that love is an infinite resource, that there is enough abundance of every kind for everyone, and that only what we give to others we get to keep, then we stop denigrating other people and start blessing them instead. Several years ago, I was living in a house with a teenage girl. One day I came home and she was sitting on her bed with 5 or 6 girlfriends, surrounding a poster of Christy Brinkley. This book was written in the 90s. As hard as it is to believe this, these girls were struggling to make a case for the fact that Christy Brinkley wasn't really all that beautiful. Or if she was, she probably wasn't all that smart. I can just see it, can't you guys? I gently pointed out to them that what was really going on was that each of them wanted very much to look just like her, but were defending against it because they thought it was impossible. It's okay for you to want to be beautiful too, I said. In fact, it's good, and in your own ways you can be. The way to do that is to bless her beauty, praise it, permit it to be so you can permit your own. Christy Brinkley being beautiful doesn't mean that you don't get to be. There's enough beauty to go around. It's just an idea. Anyone can have it. As you bless what she has, you multiply your chances of having it too. Oh, really? Well, Kittens have more of a chance of being adopted, as most of us know, and also what I've heard. Um, so I would say the adolescent cat. They're put down more in humane societies, just my personal feelings and opinions, you know, than younger kitties. Um, yeah, anyway, okay. A person who succeeds in any area is only creating more of a possibility for others to do the same. Holding on to the thought of finite resources is a way of holding on to hell. Okay? We must learn to think only divine thoughts. Angels are the thoughts of God, and in heaven, humans think like angels. Angels light the way. Angels do not begrudge anyone anything. Angels do not tear down. Angels do not compete. Angels do not constrict their hearts. Angels do not fear. That's why they sing, and that's how they fly. We, of course, are only angels in disguise. I want to be an angel, okay? I don't want to tear down anymore. You know? I mean, people can take digs, and then people can be outright mean. People can defend themselves and critique the other person, and then they don't like that and they think they're being bashed. I just, that's why I know my channel is not a hate channel. I've had so many people come into chat, people I've never seen in here before, and the regular ones, and say, I like this place. It's relaxing here. It's happy. It's people are nice in here. They even say that. And I mean, I'm talking recent too. Oh dear. Oh, oh yeah. Well, that's good. It's a no-kill shelter. Now where did Tulip go? Oh, he's under this little table. That sweet Maggie from the UK. Um, I'm gonna call her. I'm gonna call her when I'm done. Well, it's 8 hours later there, so 6:30. No, it's like 3 in the morning, right? 6:30, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2. 2:30 in the morning. So no, I'm not. When this is over, but um tomorrow I'm gonna call her, make sure she's okay. I've been messaging her and stuff and she got back, but she's rather overwhelmed. And we'll just leave it at that. Hi J Brad 865. Hi everyone. Okay, where was I? Oh, the end of the world. The end of the world is not its destruction, but its translation into heaven. The end of the world as we know it wouldn't be such a horrible thing if you think of all the ways in which the world is full of pain and suffering. In the end days, we will not escape the horrors of the world through vehicles that soar into outer space, but through vehicles that soar into inner space. Those vehicles are our healed minds guided by the Holy Spirit. What does heaven look like? Most of us have only had tiny glimpses, but those glimpses were enough to keep us always hoping to go back. The Course says there's an ancient melody. We all remember, always beckoning, always calling us to return. Heaven is our home. It's where we came from. It's our natural state. We've all had heavenly moments on earth, usually at our mother's breast or at someone else's. There is a feeling of inner peace that comes from total relinquishment of judgment. We don't feel the need to change others, and we don't feel the need to be different than we are. We can see, for whatever reason, the total beauty of another person, and we feel that they can see the beauty in us as well. The world sees the special relationship, whether romantic or otherwise, as the only valid context for such an experience. That is our primary neurosis, our most painful delusion. We keep looking to the body for love, but it is not there. We embark upon an endless search for what we cannot find. One person, one circumstance that holds the key to heaven. But heaven is within us. It has nothing ultimately to do with the thoughts of someone else, and everything to do with what we choose to think ourselves, not just about one person, but about all people. So forgiveness of mankind, of everyone in every circumstance, is our ticket to heaven, our only way home. Our goal is God. Nothing short of that goal will bring us joy, and it is joy to which we are entitled. Although we're relatively aware of the transformative power of pain, we know very little about the transformative power of joy, because we know so little about joy at all. Talk of joy is not simplistic. No one is saying that it's easy. We're just affirming that it's our goal. As we've already seen, there is no getting to heaven without acknowledging hell. Not its ultimate reality, but its reality for us while we remain in this illusion. This illusion is very powerful indeed. A Course in Miracles is not proposing emotional denial and suppression of darkness as a way to light. It is a psychotherapeutic process by which darkness is brought to light, not the other way around. In the enlightened world, psychotherapy guided by the Holy Spirit will certainly have a place. No one can escape from illusions unless they look at them, for not looking is the way they are protected. The way to heaven is fraught with demons on the side of the road, just as the fairy tale castle is surrounded by dragons. What is healing but the removal of all that stands in the way of knowledge? How else can one dispel illusions except by looking at them directly, without protecting them? The work toward enlightenment often entails a painful and not very pretty arousal of the worst of which we're capable, made plain to both ourselves and others, in order that we might consciously choose to release our personal darkness. But without a commitment to light, a conscious intent to go for heaven, we remain enamored of darkness, too tempted by its complexities. The temptation to analyze darkness as a way to light is illustrated in some traditional psychotherapeutic models. When used by the ego, psychotherapy is a tool for endless ego investigation, assignment of blame, and focus on the past. There you go. This is what's happening to me. I haven't read this book in, oh my gosh, 20 some years. And that's what's going on with me. People are using their egos as an endless ego investigation to make an assignment of blame and focus on the past, my past. When used by the Holy Spirit, it is a search for light. It is a sacred interaction in which two people together, consciously or unconsciously, invite the Holy Spirit to enter into their relationship and to transform painful perceptions into loving knowledge. The only reason we all need therapy so much is because we've lost an essential connection to the meaning of friendship. That's funny. Real relationship of any kind is a form of psychotherapy, as is true religion. The Holy Spirit psychotherapists, professional or otherwise, ask only to accept the atonement for themselves, that their own healed perceptions might help enlighten others. In the world to come, couples will use psychotherapy more and more frequently, not as crisis counseling, but as maintenance procedure. There was a time when most people saw therapy as something you did only if you were crazy. Now we see it as a valuable tool for staying sane. So it is that couples will come to see the value in a constant and consistent formal evaluation of their thought. Okay, their thoughts and feelings. Now we see it as a valuable tool for staying sane. So it is that couples will come to see the value in a constant and consistent formal evaluation of their thoughts and feelings as they walk 2 by 2 into the arms of God. Just outside of Heaven's Gate, there's a lot of action, all within an illusion, of course, but an illusion that must be transformed from within. The only meaning of any event within the world of form is that it simulates within us an impulse to reach for the gate or turn our back on heaven. As we stand before the gate, uncertain of which way to go, impelled to love and yet so trained to fear, we need to realize the sacred responsibility that has been placed in our hands. And so you walk toward heaven or toward hell, but not alone. We choose for everyone for many years to come. The decisions we make today, individually and collectively, will determine whether the planet goes to hell or goes to heaven. One thing, however, is sure: we are the transitional generation. The critical choices lie in our hands. Future generations will know who we were. They will think of us often. They will curse us or they will bless us. Okay. So she ends this book with a little prayer. We've all heard it. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever and ever. Amen. All right, I'm done with this book. I read a lot of it. Oh dear. Yes, trunk or treat. A lot of churches have those things. I called it Harvest Day for the longest time because, honestly, you guys, Halloween is very evil. Those cults, and I'm not going to say what they are, but they do horrible things to people and animals. And I think, society just ignores the ugly and the evil by passing out candy and wearing costumes and this and that and the other thing. And I did it. And my kids did it. We, all the stores downtown, when the kids were littler, from 3 in the afternoon to 5, handed out candy. And I mean a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. And the parents would dress up, and it was a lot of fun. I think they're still doing it. I'm not quite sure. Thanks so much. That's really nice. Well, she's smart. She's, there's a lot of good books out there, and my mom has sent me many books through the years. Thanks, Zero Fox Given. Thank you. Um, and they're all unique and different in their own way and good in their own way. But she's very deep, for, lack of a better word. Really? Yeah. Oh dear. Oh, that's nice. That's very nice. I'm so glad you guys are here. Okay, so it's October 13, right? Yes. AA meetings opened my eyes to something I had never thought about before. Shouting and slamming doors were not the best way to handle an already difficult situation. While there may be no harm in occasionally letting off steam with a raised voice, Shouting can become a destructive habit. I'd never thought to ask myself if this was how I wanted to behave. Did this behavior get me what I wanted or encourage me to feel good about myself? When I took a good look, I realized that the answer to this question was no. Loud, angry words and actions demonstrated my frustration and pushed away all hope for peaceful solutions to my problems. The slogan that helps me back to a rational state of mind is easy does it. When I use this slogan to quiet myself on the inside, it is easier to quiet the outside as well. Today's reminder: I am seeking a saner approach to everything I encounter. The slogans can be valuable sources of sanity in chaotic situations. Today, if I am tempted to act out of anger or frustration, I will remember that easy does it. I will try to apply easy does it to every incident that might increase the tension and cause an explosion. I think I've been, thank you. I think I've been easy does it. I've been pretty easy does it. I mean, I could pull apart, uh, you know, BK's, well, I better say Katie, or Benny Keys is going to think I'm talking about him or something and might come after me. I don't know. That guy scares me. There's only a few people that scare me. Anyway, oh, that's funny. Were you really? That's fantastic. Thanks, you guys. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, that's so cute. I enjoy listening and knitting to PCT's readings. Well, I just started reading some stuff, and then, that class I took, New Beginnings, it wasn't even a class. It was months and months, and it ended up being 9 months. And they gave out certificates at the end of each month and blah, blah, blah. And it was all about the control wheel and codependency versus interdependency and, boundary setting and all kinds of things. And, if you can get through domestic violence, really, in any shape, way, or form, you it it helps you to get through cyberbullying, to tell you the truth, because it's more of the same, except it's for the world to hear. And I say world because people from other countries, tune in or are part of chats or whatever. And then, of course, people can just make up lies and they can clone you and say you're saying things you're not and twist their own narratives. And I mean, anybody can do it. And then if you don't like someone, you can just block them or unblock them. And it can be a real power trip. It really can. And I was never going to have a channel. I kept telling Rose over and over again, no way. I've been through enough. But to tell you the truth, I was like making little films of when the kittens were like really small. Their eyes weren't even open yet. They were crawling around. They couldn't see, trying to find the nip. It was really funny. And then when, oh, you guys, what is her name? The one they found in Colorado, her remains in wherever they were found. I can't remember now that either. I can't remember her name. But anyway, when they found, Morphew, I literally was shocked. I was absolutely shocked. And it's only because they found the remains, of that other woman, right? And then they kept digging and they found the remains of a man that was going to go into the military. And then they found her remains. And so it was rather foolish of Barry, because there's no doubt whatsoever, one little iota in my mind, that he isn't guilty. Seeing him on footage and all the lies, and he wasn't ever where he said he was going to be. And it's just, and he was carrying on affairs before she even did. And then she was ready to leave him. And that's the most dangerous time. When the man finds out you're leaving, especially if there's kids involved, watch out. Like literally, don't be alone with that person ever, anywhere. And then they'll act like they're your friend in all these true crime shows I've seen for a month or two, right? They'll get their own apartment, they'll sit back. You think you're going on with your own life, right? And then it's like, hey, let's just talk about the past, or, I just want to apologize. And when you go on with your life, I just want you to know I'm okay with you. Will you meet me somewhere? And they think enough time's gone past and they haven't been harassed, and then they've disappeared. These women. It happens all the time. Terrible, scary. That's nice. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so her remains were found, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to talk about this. And that's kind of what happens with me. And when the Carly Gregg thing was happening, I was like, oh my gosh, I got to talk about this. So I didn't even wait 4 months or 3.5 months to come back. I was like, I got to talk about this. And even though what she did was horrendous, heinous, horrendous, and everything, and it could have been two people, that little girl, she was 14 when she did this stuff. The therapist said that her brain is your brain is not fully developed, especially the prefrontal cortex, and she should, have to pay the price. But my gosh, at least give her a, you know, parole someday. It's just, I don't know. I'm still upset about that. Truth seeker, I'm broken. What is that? Broken about what? You're broken? Ah, righty. Well, you guys, it's been an hour and 20 minutes, and I'm probably going to run out of time on StreamYard. It's just easier to see than kind of a black screen instead of this white one. I think I have 4 hours left on this, clear up to like the 28th. So eventually I'll be doing lives, but you guys could be in chat and everything, and we can chat. Um, oh, oh, who I was talking about, Suzanne Morphew, or Carly Gregg was the 14-year-old that in Mississippi shot and killed her mom and then attempted to with her stepdad. That thing. Yeah, I mean, it's just, she's 15 now. And it's obvious that there's genetic mental things, with her biological dad, and that she had been to therapy for quite some time. And it's all down on paper, her negative thoughts, some of her scary thoughts, little bit of delusional thinking here and there, blah, blah, blah. You know, it looked extremely calculated, though, to me, too, in the video, you know, hiding things in the fridge, the camera, and hiding the pew pew behind her back. I mean, I get all that, but oh yeah, yeah, that was horrible. That one of them that's in the mental facility, Is she the older one? I don't know. Twice now, she's tried to come up for, or to be able to try to get out, and they won't let her. And she was more of like, kind of went along with stuff more than like doing it, I guess. Aw, thanks, Dot. Thank you. Yeah, there's a lot of scary stuff. Lot of scary stuff. Last night I watched Dateline, told myself I wouldn't, but I'm kind of addicted to it, and it was called Deadly Devotion. And it was about a young woman that met a man from Germany, I think, or in Germany. She was in the military. She was like the head of the defense. I mean, uh, for the Saudi Arabia thing, or not Saudi. Yeah, I think it is a Saudi Arabia thing. So, back in the 80s or 90s, I mean, and the her husband, who she adored, was, philandering around and whatnot, and going to country bars and hanging out with younger girls. And she had no idea. And she didn't want to go on another deployment because she found out. And if she had left him, it would have made him look really bad, because he had been in the military or was still in the military. I'm not quite sure. But um, his brother was in trouble with the law quite a bit, was younger, and needed a place to stay. Hi, Turtle Talk. Thanks for coming over. Uh, we're doing good. I just read part of the ending of Marianne Williamson book, and A Return to Love. And it was soothing. It kind of got my head in perspective. Um, but anyway, oh, there you are, Tulip. She wanted to move with her husband, and had been sort of catering and taking care of this younger brother, letting him have I guess he wasn't getting a job, things like this. And he was angry, and he had a girlfriend. And, they didn't charge her. They didn't really feel that this man's younger brother, her husband's younger brother's girlfriend, had anything to do with it. But wow, she was 6 months pregnant. And apparently, allegedly, I didn't see the very, very end, but the husband did he got, I don't know what he got. They charged him with second degree murder because they couldn't prove he was there or something. But he's in prison, and I can't remember the name. It's Dateline Deadly Devotion. And she was 6 months pregnant, and he was there. And trigger warning, he slit her, you know what, right? And STABBED'd her all over. She's 6 months pregnant. I mean, she's, you've got a belly then. And killed her, and her baby. And it's just like, jeez. Like, even though her husband had cheated on her and everything, she really wanted to make things work. She felt like maybe it was happening because she was on these deployments. And I mean, she didn't blame herself, but And then there was talk that, of course, he's looking at the life insurance. And yeah. So I watched the show, and then I'm like, okay, it's about 10 p.m. I'm a little tired. Not a lot else to do. I mean, I could sit and go on other people's lives, but I'm just, you know, I have kind of enough to do with my own channel. I'll say hi to other people once in a blue moon, but really participating and supporting and being a mod and all that, I just don't really want to be. I mean, I want to support when I can, but I don't want to be a mod. I don't, maybe it's a little selfish, but I've got to try to keep some balance, some kind of balance in my life. Yeah, so I go to bed and I'm laying here and I can't stop thinking about the program. And so it's just not really very good for me to watch that stuff. That whole thing with what's his face, Wade, I didn't see it. I mean, one look at his, I mean, they look like scars, right? But they're scar tattoos, I guess, on his face, his neck, and everything. He's so gosh darn scary looking. Now, I know he killed two women. I don't know where, I don't know why. I think this was in Florida. Um, but yeah, so many people are talking about Wade. How is Wade still getting commissary and D-Row? Wow. Okay, Florida. Yeah. Oh gosh. And then over in Katie's program, it was so funny. I mean, I was just kind of chuckling. People in her chat were like, we need to fix her up with someone. So she stops talking about Jimmy and Ernie and they're bringing up, I think they mentioned this guy E. Crude, and then they mentioned, wait, was it E. Crude? And then somebody said Cyrax. Okay, I know who he is. He's an excellent dancer. You know, he was up on Morbid's, maybe he still is in the intro. Oh, he did? Hi, Lady Tara 71. He got that tattoo in jail while waiting for strike. Yes. Yeah, and who on earth, what is kiosk? Is that a name? Oh, how do you not have a choice? What do you mean? They didn't hold him down and like make him have some, did they? I don't know. And then what were some of the other names? Abe? I don't know who Abe is. It's just people are really funny. I mean, if I wanted a boyfriend, I mean, I could go online like any other woman and find one, but honestly, it's not safe. I've done that. I did that. I tried that. I was very curious about it when it was all even more new, right? Like Plenty of Fish and what was it called? Meet Me. I met one guy on Plenty of Fish. Yeah, I'm not going to say his name or anything, but he really, really liked me. And I just didn't feel the same way about him. And I told him, you know, we can be friends, and he wasn't happy about that. So, yeah. He wasn't threatening or weird. He was just angry. Um, yeah. And then I met a guy on Meet Me. Um, oh gosh, this is like 7 years, or not 7 years, because I was 51. I'm 62. So 11 years ago. And he was a ranger and all this, and, you know, nice body and whatever. And we went out for 4 years. But I just think people are crazier these days. Like, it doesn't matter what they look like, it doesn't matter, right? What they do. He and I broke up because he went back to his long haul truck driving job, like to Idaho and everything. And I don't know. I At that time I didn't want to have like a long distance relationship, you know. And then he wanted you know, he wanted me to send him pictures. I'm just like, no, you know. And it's just like, ugh, good grief. But yeah, that was Dennis. You know, I wish him the best. I haven't talked to him in 7 years. Oh, yeah. I mean, that one lady that met some guy and they went to a ball game, he looked like just a regular guy in like what, his middle or late 30s. And I think she was 40 or 41. And, you know, I don't know. I mean, he ends up killing her. I mean, did he expect to have you know what with her? And she said, after dinner in a ball game, and she said, "No, get off me," or something. And then like, how does stuff like that just happen unless you're absolutely a psychopath? Mm. But yeah, so I just, mm, I'm peeking at chat. Oh, gosh. I agree the kids shouldn't be in there for live. Okay, I already looked at that. All right, it's been an hour and a half. I'm going to go. Just kind of babbling and talked again about the show I saw last night. And um, I just, I mean, I don't think I'll ever get married again. And I really don't even want to. Because honestly, just people change once they're married. Um, but like people who are married, be careful getting life insurance policies. I mean, it's just one thing after another. Life insurance, life insurance, life insurance, life insurance. And they seem fine for what, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 4 years. And then, you know, the significant other is gone. But yeah. Thanks, Zero Fox Given. Thanks everybody for being here. Thanks for coming to PCT is Extreme. Listening to all that reading. I think I was gonna read like just that one first little part and not all the other parts tonight, but I was kind of on a roll and just kept going. Um, I wasn't throwing shade at anybody. If we could all just get along. But the thing is, I mean, I guess it doesn't take everybody, right? Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, wow. Because we're not in control of other people, right? We're not in control of other people. I can only control myself. I can't control what other people are going to put on the internet. I can't control what they're going to say. I can't control what they're going to do. Just myself. And I have to remember that. Maybe I should start meditating to get the right headspace in the mornings. I've only meditated a few times. I'm not even sure I'm doing it right. Thanks. Thanks, sweetie. Sierra has a channel. Go over and subscribe. Please subscribe to her. She's laid back and funny and fun. Sierra Queen Pin Clark. Maybe she'll go live tonight. And Truth Seeker has a channel. She does some true crime now and then. She could use your support too. Please subscribe to her. Who else is in here with channels? Leanie was earlier. I haven't seen her in a minute here. According to Leanie, please go over and give her some support. She's laid back and funny and just goes with the flow and kind of comedian-ish. Yeah. All right, you guys. Thanks so much. All right. So if you want to tip your hostess, feel free. It's not expected. And I'll pass on the carrot song because, it's been kind of a longish live. You're welcome. And, oh my goodness gracious. Rose, oh Rose. People think that you're Peggy. Yeah. And then before that, people thought that this was Team Rose trying to act like someone against her. I I don't know who anyone is anymore. I can't keep track. But I've got some really sweet, fun, go with the flow people in here, and I look forward to coming on Yeah, nearly every time. So please hit the like. Please, I can't talk. Please subscribe. Oh, oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. Oh, jeez, look at this. um, please subscribe to me if you're willing to. I've gotten a few little more subscribers in the last couple of days. That's really nice. And what did I miss? What? What do you mean, Mary Jane? What? I know. You didn't miss anything. Yeah. One of these days I'll have the guts to be on. I see that so many people just talk in their avatar. Not just, but they do. And it's definitely kind of more freeing. Oh, that's nice, Sleuth Fairy. Thanks. Hi, Tina, dropping by to say hello. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Maybe Leanie will go live tonight. Oh, yeah. So, oh gosh. Rose, oh Rose. You're really funny. Okay. Thanks everyone for coming in to PCT is Extreme. See you tomorrow. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Treat people the way you would like to be treated. That's my little slogan of the week. Maybe I'll think up a different one each week. Something like that. Oh, is she? Oh, gee. All right. Bye for now.